Well, hi, good morning. So I want to share a thought, again, based off one of the verses off of this little great memory verses sheet that I have posted up on the website. And so this one is Ephesians 4:29. Do not let any unwholesome word come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building up others according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen. So I particularly want to talk just for a moment about that little phrase, unwholesome, and so the real meaning behind that is a very graphic, blunt word that just sort of means decay or rotten. And so it was used to talk about everything from rotten fruit to crops that would rot to cloth, and of course all their cloth back then was natural fiber cloth that would decay. And in fact, it was actually in some ways used to talk about as people got older and their bodies wouldn't function in the way that it used to when you were young and healthy. But since I've been around the block a few times, we're not going to go down the road of what that means, okay? And so when you kind of think about that idea of decay or rotten, then certainly we don't want to have any words coming out of our mouth that are those kinds of words, that kind of language, those kinds of statements. But there's another sense, it's kind of built off of that, and that's a little bit more the sense that is used here, and is kind of reflected in some of the statements that Jesus said also. And this meaning is similar to that, but it just simply means not good, not desirable, not something you want to keep or have any real use for. And so in Matthew chapter 7, Jesus talks about good trees and good fruit and bad fruit. And this same word there is used for a rotten tree can't put out good fruit. And a good tree is not going to put out bad fruit. And so it might not be that obviously a tree doesn't necessarily produce rotten fruit, but the fruit is just no good. You know, either it doesn't taste right, or it never got all the way ripe, or it's too seedy, or, a million different things can go wrong with fruit coming off of a tree. And so in Ephesians 4:29, when it talks about our words ought to be something then that benefit the community, that are helpful for other people. It builds them up. And words that are bad, rotten, decaying, these are things that are unprofitable. They're not good for other people. They're not desirable. They don't do anything to benefit them or build them up. So one writer kind of talked about it like this, that good words compared to bad words are like somebody who helps Christians who are in need to somebody who would steal from a Christian. And so we don't want to say things that steal from people, that just pass on worthless stuff to people that would eventually maybe lead to rot and decay in their thoughts or their actions or their life or whatever. So I'm saying all this because honestly, it's still a reflection from what I talked about on Sunday. And so if you haven't seen the Sunday message yet, let me encourage you to go do that. Of course I'm going to say that. I'm the preacher, right? I preach the message. But no, this last Sunday's message, it was something I think that's really important for our time. And it's about how we respond in an age where so many people just have a hair trigger and are filled with rage and anger, and how do we respond to that? And this would be one of those things that we want to make sure that we don't let things come out of our mouth that aren't beneficial to other people. We want to say things that encourage them, that build them up. And so that's not just simply our friends, our family, other people at church. That would apply to people on the other side of the political divide from you, the other side of some ideological debate from you, the other side of people who have an opinion about whatever the current event is or whatever they've posted up online. Even those people, we want to say things that build them up. Well, thanks for being here this morning. Let's pray. Father, help us to put a guard over our mouths. Help us to stop and think. And Father, when we turn to you and say, so what do I say now in all of this? Then give us those words that are good, that are beneficial, that lift up somebody else and encourage them. And all this we ask in your name. Amen. Thanks.